And good evening, and welcome to another edition of Ralph Williams One-on-One. It's great to be here with you. I know it's a cold day outside, wherever you might be, or if you're watching in the West Coast, I know you're probably enjoying the sun out there, and in the South as well. So, up here in Pittsburgh area and Pennsylvania and north, we're absorbing some serious snow and some cold here right now. It looks like it's going to be an interesting winter this year, so we'll see what happens. I'm not here to talk about the weather. I'm here to talk with a really good friend of mine, and he's actually my best friend, and his name is Bill CANNATA. And Bill is a local PBA Pro Bowler. We're going to talk about that, and we got a few other things we're going to talk about in regards to Bill's interview as well. Bill, welcome to the program. It's great to have you.
Ralph, it's a pleasure to be here.
Bill, talk to the audience about your life as a local pro bowler. When did you get started bowling?
Well, I actually started when I was the ripe age of 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be a straight ball bowler. Used to take 7 steps, had no timing, no nothing. I just started ball hard and straight until one night the guy over at Guys and Dolls, which is now closed, and now the Big Lots in Penn Hills, he said, hey, he said, that looks like you want to learn how to hook the ball, so why don't I teach you? So it only took 2 lessons, and then I had to work on my game. So now fast forwarding to today at 54 years old, bowling is a sport on where it's very, very fun, it's recreational, but when you get serious about it, it can become a headache. And I mean a real headache. It's a real challenge. By no means, shape, or form is it easy. The bowling ball has changed so much. You really have to be a scientist in order to drill a bowling ball anymore today.
Yeah, you were telling me about that, Bill. That was an interesting thing. We had talked about bowling balls when, back, and I thought it was simple, just go to Kmart and get holes put in a bowling ball. I didn't know it was that sophisticated anymore.
You know what? Back in the day, that was the way to go. There was only three different types of bowling balls back in the day.
That's right.
Until then they got more sophisticated. The bowling industry got more sophisticated and tried to make it harder for the pros, and so much they did. And also amateurs, amateur pros, they also it's a very challenging sport. By no means is it easy. Let me tell you, you want to do it recreational, that's the way to be.
I have a question for you. Bowling kind of went off the map a little bit. It's back. It seems to be back stronger than ever now. Do you agree with that, or do you think bowling's always been where it needed to be?
No, bowling actually, it actually did take a turn for the worst. When COVID hit, a lot of bowling alleys had closed, tried to reopen up, and they had no such thing. And I'm talking about the mom and pop bowling alleys, and right. Some of them closed down, but the corporate ones, they're still around. As a matter of fact, they became more powerful than ever. It seems like COVID, everybody being shut in, wants now all of a sudden to take up bowling, and I'm sure golf has seen an increase as well. But yes, I do agree with you. It fell off the map, and now it really is coming back stronger than ever, which is fantastic for the sport.
How about the local scene? Is it stronger than ever, or does the local scene need a little help? What's going on with the local scene?
No, to be honest with you, I used to bowl on Thursday night, and over at, it used to be called Playmore, but now it's Spins Bowl, which is located in West Mifflin, behind Kennywood.
Right.
Our league used to take up probably almost the entire house. There was only 10 lanes available to practice, and so now, back in the day, last year, and when we would start the bowl, those 10 lanes would fill up real quickly. So the answer to your question is that it's more harder to get open lanes than everybody thinks it is. Everybody thinks it's easy to get open lanes, but it's not no more. It really is. It's really time based. So if you're coming down for a regular practice session, you have to do it kind of in the daytime, to where when people are not really here, to where leagues are more powerful. So they some of the leagues take up the entire house.
Right.
So yes. So I hear that they take up the lanes, the open play, which is fantastic. So our house is usually taken on a Thursday night. Monday nights was the same way too. So yeah, absolutely.
I have a question for you real quick. Has all-night bowling kind of gone off the ropes a little bit? I mean, gosh, I remember growing up all-night bowling, man. You could go from like 11 p.m. to 7 in the morning, and especially at the old Monroe Bowl, man. I used to go when I was in the Boy Scouts. We used to go there. It was skating, pool, and bowling for one price. Now it's like, 2 hours maybe, and they call it all-night bowling. You know?
If that's what they want to call it, I just call that just a practice session, a couple hours. I mean, it used to go from 11 o'clock, like you said, 11 p.m.
Right.
or 11 p.m. to some of them 6 a.m., some of them 7 a.m.
Yeah, right,
but
exactly.
Yeah, that's all night. And we used to have a field house at all-night bowling.
Right,
now,
right.
you got a couple hours.
Yeah, it's like 11 to 2 or something now.
Yeah, that's a practice session for me.
I know, it's crazy
Yeah.
now. I remember even when we used to bowl at the old McKnight Lanes, which is now Bed Bath & Beyond, we used to bowl there when I was in church youth group, and we'd go all night bowling. It was like midnight to 6, and I mean, it was like, and now it's like you said, a practice session, and they call it all night bowling, you know.
And then, on top of that too, well, Bed Bath & Beyond is now gone out there.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
So McKnight Lanes was a real good staple in the community. Frank and Barry used to own that place, and then I don't know exactly what happened, why he sold it. Then, of course, that's where Bed Bath & Beyond took place. But it was a sad day to see McKnight Lanes close, and a lot of local bowling alleys closing down. And it really is, but it seems so much more powerful and coming back better than ever, which is fantastic.
That is great. Yeah, that's great to hear, because bowling is a great sport. A lot of people are into bowling now. Golf is coming back too, as you said. I guess after COVID, everybody that wanted to get out needed to get out and start, and when decided they were going to do bowling, and in golf, golf, they're selling out at the supply places for golf clubs and stuff now, and
Okay.
But one other thing I wanted to ask you, and I know this is a sensitive subject here, and we're going to get off the bowling a little bit. About a week or two, or about 2-3 weeks or more ago, you had just attended the sentencing for Tyler Mason. Now, Tyler, of course, as I don't know if a lot of you know, was the gentleman who decided to murder Bill's 3-year-old grandson. And Bill, how did that hearing go? And did you get what you expected out of the hearing?
Well, again, that's a kind of a touchy situation, but I can definitely talk about it a lot more openly. I was kind of disappointed because, see, what had happened is they took a plea bargain. Because they took the plea bargain, that reduced his sentence dramatically. Mm-hmm. If it was going to go to a trial, they know he was going to be found guilty, and they know that he was going to do a life sentence.
Right.
So the plea bargain took place, and they gave him 40 years. And the judge said, if I can give you more years, I would. It was a very emotional roller coaster of a case. Mm-hmm. I didn't really agree with the plea bargaining, but if I didn't, I don't know where else it would have turned. Mm-hmm. So, just as long as this maniac is behind bars, that's where he deserves to be for sure. I mean, and it's very sad that I have to be the one sitting here talking about my grandson, and it happens all over the world.
Right.
It's just not me; it's all over the place. But it's still a very touchy situation because of the way that my daughter is and so forth. So it's I wanted a little bit more, but I've seen people get more for less. Mm-hmm. So I feel that if they would not have taken that plea bargain, then he would have definitely had gotten life. That was the deal. That's the way it went down.
Tell some of the audience here. Oh, by the way, we have some comments here. I have a comment here that says, person says they don't know much about bowling, but they said, I mean, this is a serious question to my guest here, Bill CANNATA. But is there ever bowling cheaters to worry about, Bill? That's what they're asking. Sounds like a silly question, but
I mean, there used to be. It's kind of hard to do that now because everything is electronic. It's all score. I mean, you can put in any kind of score you want. You know, you could cheat all night long. You may have to throw a bowling ball. So the answer to that question is probably. I haven't come across since the old days, since the pen and paper scoring system, which a lot of people
oh
probably
my
cheated
gosh,
a
I
lot
missed
more
those
there.
days.
But I hope that answered your question.
Those days were fun with the paper and pencil. I have a question for you. You traveled when you were once back in the day as a PBA bowler. What was the best city outside of Pittsburgh for you to bowl in?
You know, it's kind of crazy because I actually had, well, everybody loves Las Vegas. Las Vegas treated us with the greatest and kindest respect. And I'm going to say this as well as Ohio. No matter where I went in Ohio, Ohio was probably one of the best. Detroit, yeah, not so good. I mean, I've been all over the place. But to actually put it, if you're looking at the top couple, I would have to say Ohio, which would be Cincinnati, and then I would have to say Las Vegas, Nevada. We bowled down there. I would definitely have to put those on the top two, and then it would have to go down from there.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know it's hard, like you said, to cheat in bowling. But my another comment here said there was just a fishing scandal with guys who put weights in the walleye fish, and the commenter said he never paid attention to the competitive fishing. So now it was just him wondering about. That's why he asked about the cheating in bowling, because
Well,
I don't know if you heard about that.
You know, well, I'm gonna add to that comment as well as the scoring. Yes, there was many decades ago, you could have put weights into a bowling ball. We've done that before. So we've taken an actual 16-pound bowling ball and we made it into 22 or 23 pounds by drilling a hole, opening up the bowling ball, throwing lead weight, and covering back up, and it would be a 23-pound bowling ball. Did it make any difference? It made a lot of noise. It made a lot more divots in the lanes. And yes, it was cheating. You can never get away with that, though, in today's world, because when you're on the PBA scene, they weigh everything. Everything is weighed, and yes, so yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it says here that you're explaining it with scoreboards.
Yes, well, scoreboards as well as equipment as well. I mean, we did it. We did, and we took it above and beyond. Oh, years ago, we used to put bowling balls in, kid you not, into ovens to actually bake the bowling ball. Whoa. To get all of the oil out of it. That's old school. That was long time ago. Wow. And they also softened the surface of the bowling ball as well.
Oh, wow. I'll tell you another thing. Have you ever heard of a shoe scandal? Anything with any of the bowling shoes or anything like that?
I don't really, because usually with the shoes, that's your balance, and that's, pretty much everything with that. It's usually with the bowling equipment.
Right.
Everybody, right. It's with the, they try to make the bowling ball softer by putting it in the oven. Some tournaments at the time never checked the hardness of a bowling ball. And that's a whole other story. But they would check the hardness of the bowling balls at tournaments. Whether it be PBA, national tournaments, whatever it may have been, you would have to make sure that your bowling ball passes a certain softness and a certain hardness before you actually took that ball into competition. If it was below what they were coming across, then they would actually take that bowling ball out of competition. You couldn't use that ball. And if you were caught using that ball, you would actually be taken out of the competition altogether. So if you were by chance winning that piece of tournament there, and they come and they see you using that piece of equipment and they checked it, you were getting kicked out of that tournament with no problem. I can tell you that much right now.
Let me ask you this. What would you recommend? What kind of a ball would you recommend for a person, for instance, like if I was just getting started in bowling? I mean, it's too bad that I couldn't get some of your expertise of bowling before I became handicapped. But what I'm saying is, suppose someone just wants to start bowling tomorrow. What kind of ball do you recommend them to get, brand or whatever?
Well, the bowling balls have become quite such the bowlers' partners. And what I mean by that is that they are putting these different coats on bowling balls and so forth. So to answer your question, probably more fuller so that you guys would understand this, my suggestion would be to do this. Go to a bowling alley, your local bowling alley, wherever that may be, and start off. I'm not like this is just for random people to start off with a 6-7 pound bowling ball, house ball now, to see on how well that would actually work for you. Now, it's probably not going to fit your fingers quite well because it's not custom made for you. They're usually drilled at one fingers and 1 finger size for the 6-pound, 7-pound, or 6-pound, 7-pound, and 8-pound balls, and then as you get up into higher poundage, they would get bigger fingers. So they ain't going to be custom fitted to you. So, however, what I'm saying to you is start off with something light, see on how well you do with that. If you feel comfortable with that, or you feel that you can move on to the next weight, and what I mean by that is, I know I'm getting off track, and I'm sorry, let me backtrack just a bit.
Don't worry about
so, you get like a 6-pound, 7-pound ball, and you throw a couple games with it, and see how well that fits you. See what your games are starting to be like on how well that feels to your arm and everything else. If that feels okay, then you go to your local pro shop in the bowling alley and tell them to fit you up. And then from there on in, they would go ahead and get you whatever they want. Local brand, pretty much everything is made by everybody anymore. So like Hammer.
AMF, Brunswick.
Yeah, well, AMF is gone.
Oh, get out of here!
That's all gone. Like Brunswick is making I don't even like. It's so hard for me to even keep track. But like Hammer is not being made by Hammer anymore. I think Brunswick. Or wait, I'm thinking. Roto Grip might be making a lot of them. But there's a main bowling alley. There's only 2 main bowling alley or 2 main manufacturers that manufacture all the equipment. So if that answers that question, because there used to be Hammer, there used to be Brunswick, there used to be Track, there used to be all that. Now you've got 2 companies making everything. So my suggestion: start off with something light. Try to get your fingers comfortable in the bowling ball. Go out and throw a couple games and say, hey, I think I might be okay with this. Then at that point, then say, hey, go to your local pro shop and say, hey, I would like to buy a bowling ball. And they would start you off at an entry-level bowling ball. They might sell you a Brunswick. They might sell you a Hammer. They might sell you a Roto Grip, whatever it might be. But they're going to start you off with an entry-level bowling ball. And then from that, you start climbing up the steps to wherever you want to go with the bowling. If you just want it to be recreational, yes, then go for it. Have fun. I definitely encourage. If you want to try to go professional, I encourage that too, but that's just a little harder these days because the younger guys out there today, they seem just like in anything, in any sport, just like football, same thing.
Right.
Young guys out there, but not too bad for an old guy still throwing the bowling ball at 54 years old, and I'm still banging out 250s and 280s. Yeah, it's not too bad. So,
no, not at all.
The PBA 50 is where I belong, and it's where I'm going to be. But regionals, I'm going to bowl them. I'm going to bowl them when I think it's time for me to go back out on tour, which is going to be soon. I'm thinking 2023 is going to be okay. So, I would much recommend you guys to start off that way, and then from that point, work your way on up to where you are comfortable. Even get in the league, see how you like a league and see what's going on with that. You might really like bowling. You might want to take it to the next level.
Right. So
I would definitely encourage that. So that would be my encouragement. Or if you have an old bowling ball, you try that and see how that works for you.
How's the leagues looking this year in Pittsburgh? What's it looking like with some of these leagues? Are they strong? Or have they deteriorated? What's going on with the leagues?
Well, they have them. They have leagues. Oh my gosh! Like I just got finishing practice here at Noble Manor, and they already have leagues at 4:30. Now
Wow.
it only takes up 6 lanes, but that's okay. It's a 6 lane league that bowling alley didn't have. They start off gradually, fun league and money league and all that stuff. It's really working out to be good. Now, the reason why I came so early today was because this house is going to be filled at 6:30, 7 o'clock is when the bulk of the leagues come in. So for me to get practicing, I have to wait till the center opens, and if I'm available to come and throw some at that time, because I'm on the lanes for a couple hours, and they know that I take a couple hours of practice. And yes, the leagues get bulkier as the night gets on, and it's kind of great. It's kind of great. It's awesome because it takes up the house. And to answer your question, those leagues are some competitive, some fun leagues, so it's mixed. It's, if the house can fit in, they're going to fit in whatever they can to take up those open spaces. So it's mixed. You've got, your fun leagues maybe down at the farther part of the end, and then you got your money leagues further up. It just depends on the night, depends on what the leagues are producing. I know Wednesday nights, pretty much while I was bowling at before, was all money leagues. So it was all money. So there was, nothing, amateur about all that. You coming in there, you're bowling for money. So yes, you can get your hands wet with just the starter league all the way through.
And that's bucks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's fun.
Make a couple bucks.
Yeah, you can make a couple bucks.
That's
absolutely,
right.
It's fun. For people to do it and people who understand the game a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely encourage anybody who is ever thinking about it to do it because it's a fun sport. It really is.
What kind of equipment? Or what's the price nowadays? I guess equipment's gone up sky high, I would say. What's your thoughts on the equipment for bowling?
Well, having a PBA card, which is great, I get the higher performance equipment at a discounted price, which is awesome because it helps me out a great deal. Entry bowling ball would be probably in the range of maybe 40 to 60 bucks, maybe 70 bucks. Middle of the road would be from maybe 75 to 100, and then it goes up from there. I've seen bowling balls going for several $100 if they, if you go in and you want something and the pro shop operator decides to charge you $200 and some for a bowling ball. I've seen them go for that. You can get them offline, but if you get them offline, you got to make sure you have a pro shop that's going to be able to drill them for you. That's the thing.
I see. Okay.
That's the thing. There's not, I can buy here and then go to Kmart. Kmart's no longer in existence, and that's an old time school there, brother. So yeah, it's all gone. So you have to make sure, and you know what? 95% of the pro shops out there would actually go ahead and drill somebody's bowling ball for them. They would, because they would like them to get into that if they bought that off a line. There's a lot of places out there online where you can go get bowling balls for really cheap prices. And then, you can even get cheaper prices than what I said offline. And they'll come right to your house. Just as long as you have a pro shop to get them drilled at. Absolutely. I would definitely go online. There's about 2 or 3 different online people that would go. Since I get my stuff from the PBA, bowling equipment wise, and also grips. Yeah, I get all that stuff from the PBA.
I was going to ask you about Dick's. I thought Dick's probably would be the one place that would have bowling balls.
Well, no, they probably don't, but I said grips. G-R-I-P.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Inserts, no problem.
Dick's Sporting Goods or Dunham's.
Dick's Sporting Goods. I don't even think they even drill bowling balls anymore. Hey, I could be wrong. Maybe they do. I don't think so, though.
Right.
Because I think, everybody's gone from drilling the bowling balls back in the day,
Right.
But, yeah, just as long as you have a place to go get the equipment drilled, yeah, you can go on to on the Amazon, you can go on anywhere and find a bowling ball, and you could, get that anywhere. Yeah, and it depends on what you're looking for. I'd say start off in an entry level bowling ball. So you won't spend a lot of money on the bowling ball, and you can get into the bowling league somewhere. And it doesn't matter how good you are, because there's people out there who could be worse than you. There's people out there that are better than you. But the thing is that you're going into a league and you're going somewhere in there that's going to be just as competitive for you than you going in and saying, "Oh, I really suck. I only throw 105." That's okay. You go in, enjoy it, get an established average, and go bowl some tournaments too. There's tournaments with very, very high handicaps that you guys can actually get into and cash and possibly win. So bowling is an all-around sport for everybody. So don't think just because you're not a professional, you're not shooting 220s or 250s or something like that. I know that's great scores to shoot, but don't feel that way. Go out, get yourself an entry-level bowling ball, get into a league, enjoy it, and then see where it takes you.
Well, thank you so much, Bill, for being part of my show today. In case those of you are not aware, this is my new show, third episode of Ralph Williams One-on-One. I do a one-on-one interview with somebody. And today I just had the privilege of doing an interview with Bill CANNATA, who happens to be a local PBA pro bowler. And he's going to get ready to go back out on tour. And, so Bill, thank you for being part of the program. I really appreciate you being on. And good luck to you in the bowling. And we'll talk to you another time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ralph, for having me, brother. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck with all of your shows.
Oh,
and I hope
you.
it takes you. I hope it skyrockets you over the Empire State Building, brother.
I hope so too, Bill. We'll see. I got back into this after I got out of it in the early '90s, but we'll see what happens. That's
Gotcha.
all we can do.
Gotcha.
So, all right, Bill. Thank you for being part of the program. Good luck bowling tonight. Say hi to everybody at Noble Manor for me. All right?
Will do. Thanks.
All right, have a great one. Thanks.
You too.
All right, that was Bill CANNATA, who is a local PBA pro bowler. We just had him here on Ralph Williams One-on-One. It's been a pleasure being here with you tonight. Stay tuned for the next episode. Check my Facebook page and my Twitter page for the next episode of Ralph Williams One-on-One. Have a great one. Thank you for watching. Have a good one and be safe.